again, my forever family. Thank you for joining us. Our staff wanted to put together a public service announcement about our re-entry into gathering together for worship. By the way, we don't necessarily refer to it as reopening. We're not reopening the church. The church never closed. We never stopped doing the work of the church. We never stopped with our compassion to help the poor. We never stopped with our desire to help feed the hungry. We never stopped with our discipling believers to become fully devoted followers of Christ. We never stopped supporting worldwide missions. So we're not reopening the church. We're just putting together plans for regathering for worship. We've done all these things. We just do them differently right now during this pandemic. We'll have 3 services starting June 7th, Sunday, June 7th. There'll be a 9 o'clock service and there'll be an 11 o'clock service. Those services will be very similar to the services that we've always had. The music will be similar. The message will be similar. There will be some things different that we'll talk about in just a moment. What will be different is that there'll be for 45 minutes. Now, I can almost hear you laughing when you think about me trying to abbreviate the message. I'm used to preaching about 45 minutes. And our whole service is going to try to be contained in 45 minutes. So that's one of the things that you'll notice, is that our 9 o'clock and our 11 o'clock services will be very similar, but they'll still be abbreviated. We also will have a service at 10 o'clock. The 10 o'clock service will be very different in many ways. First of all, it will be outside under the tent. It'll be in the paved parking lot on the Plymouth Avenue side of the church. It'll feature a different kind of music. It won't be the same songs that we have at 9 and 11. It'll be more of a folk, bluegrass gospel, a little bit of a rock and roll that's been baptized. Laureen Diebert and her band will be leading, and then we'll have the message. So it'll be a little bit different, but it will be outside. Our thoughts are that there will be people who would be comfortable with being outside who might not be ready yet to be inside with groups. So we hope that'll meet a need in your life. Well, let's go over some of the basics for today. First of all, on Sunday, May 31st, we're having a soft launch. We're having what, for all practical purposes, is a practice worship service. And so we've got volunteers who are going to come on Sunday, May 31st, and we're going to walk through all of the best practices and procedures that we've been working on. This will give us an opportunity to make sure things are ready for when we launch our 3 services on Sunday, June the 7th. We're looking forward to the volunteers coming, and we'll practice all the pre-screenings. You'll come in the side exits that we'll talk about in just a moment. You'll have a temperature taken. You'll answer a few questions. So this will help us prepare and get ready for our launch on Sunday, June the 7th. Second, this is what you can expect. When you come and enter into the worship service, you actually will enter only in the 2 side entrances, the one that's the atrium entrance and the one that's on the Plymouth Avenue side of the church. No one will be able to enter from the main doors of the sanctuary, what we used to call the narthex. Those will be used for exits only. And so the 2 side entrances will have our greeter and health screening teams there. That's where you'll stop. You'll answer a few questions. They'll take your temperature. Anybody that has a temperature of 100.4 might want to consider staying home that day. Or if you have a child with a temperature, you might want to stay home during this period of time. If you have children or preschoolers, you might want to park on the atrium side parking lot, because there'll be someone there that will help get your children to the preschool area and also help get your children up to the children's worship in All Stars. You might want to consider arriving 30 minutes early. That gives you plenty of time to get in, to go through the pre-screening, and then come on into the worship service. We'll have things that, good music that you can be listening to. We'll have some announcements. We'll maybe have some comedy things. So just plan on being here 30 minutes early to make sure that you can get in and find the place where you would like to be seated. If you have preschoolers and children, as you enter into that side, I want to say that I'm very grateful to our preschool leaders and our children's leaders for putting together what we're calling the best practices to make sure that your preschoolers and children have a wonderful time in their worship event. Now, once you enter the worship center, there are a couple of things that you'll notice. The first thing you might notice is that half of the chairs have been removed. And so let's say that our downstairs seats 300 people. We've removed about half of those, about 150 or so. And the reason we did that, of course, is for social distancing. And so what it will look like is literally every other row has been removed from the worship center. You'll be able then to sit with your family or your friends. There'll be room between you and maybe the person that you don't know. You could leave a couple of seats, and there'll be plenty of seats for everyone. We're planning that the services will cap out probably about 80 people, certainly no more than 100 people at each of the services. The other thing that you'll notice is that there's no passing of the offering plates. Whenever you come into the worship center and throughout the church, there'll be offering boxes. Now, the best way to make your offering, your tithe and your gift is online. You can have an automatic draft, or you can do that online. But we also then will have an opportunity for you, if you so prefer, to make your offering at one of the offering boxes located around the sanctuary and throughout the building. We still will practice things like social distancing, and so we want you to be mindful of those that would still like to keep that 6-foot hula hoop circle. No hugging, no handshaking, no kissing. We still want to use the best practices that we can to help people feel comfortable. Now, hopefully, all of these changes will be for the better, and many of them will be temporary, and we'll go back to life more what we're used to in the days ahead. I also want you to be aware that one of the things you'll notice when you come into the worship center will be curtains that have helped us to partition off part of the worship center. Now, if you can imagine having 80 people in an auditorium that seats 400, that loses a lot of its intimacy, it loses a lot of its worship dynamic. And so we're bringing everyone forward just a little bit, and we're not having anybody sit under the balcony, and nobody will be sitting in the balcony. There'll be no balcony seating except for the media team and their families. We want you to be aware of that as we start. Now, a few wrap-up items I want to talk about. First of all, we support your decision. If you decide that it's not time to come back and regather for worship, it's okay. We not only support you, we bless you. You have to make the right decision for you and your family and your loved ones, and it is quite okay. We want you to know that we're still going to maintain our online presence, so every Sunday you can still join us for the Word and for worship, just like we have been doing for the last 2 months. Secondly, we also want you to be aware that we don't want anyone in our church family to practice what we call faith shaming. Well, what does that mean? Well, we don't want anyone associated with James Island Baptist to have the opinion that where's your faith? Where's your? Why are you so worried about catching this virus? If you had faith, you wouldn't worry about it. That's called faith shaming. We don't want that to happen. There are people that will say, I'm not afraid of it. I'm going to hug and I'm going to kiss and I'm going to shake hands. Listen, Philippians chapter 2 says, have this attitude in you that was in Christ Jesus, who even though he was equal with God, did not consider his equality something to be grasped after, but he emptied himself and became a servant. Part of what we want you to learn is to be a servant to other people. What we're doing and the changes we're making are motivated by love, not fear. And so we want you to be a part of our effort to make people feel welcomed and to help create the attitude and the atmosphere that you're welcome here at James Island Baptist. Remember in the very beginning, we stopped public gathering for worship very early. Now, we did that because of love. We were motivated by love, not fear. I'm a shepherd of the church, and I want to make sure, to the best of my ability, that I kept the sheep, kept our families, our churches, church people. We kept everybody as safe as we possibly could. There was a church in Arkansas who didn't practice these best practices. They didn't put into practice the things that they knew to do. The end result was that in one house of worship, they had 37 people who were infected with the virus, 3 members who died. They had 17 people in the community that were infected by the church people, and then one person in the community died. They find that out by what they call source tracing. Listen, we don't want that to happen. We're going to do the best that we can. We can't guarantee anybody's safety, but we can guarantee that we'll try our best to put into practice what we're calling these best practices. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn, they will be comforted." During all of this, we want you to not forget to mourn with those who have experienced great loss. Remember that here in America, the number is going beyond 100,000 people that have died. More people have died in 2 months with this COVID virus than have died in the entire length of time for the Vietnam War. Let's mourn with those who have lost their loved ones. Let's mourn with those who have lost their businesses. They've lost their jobs. They've lost the ability to be with their loved ones in nursing homes. They've lost celebrating their high school graduations, their college graduations. They've lost their scholarships to universities. Let's be aware of that. Jesus said, "Blessed are those who mourn." Let's be a church family of love and compassion. We look forward to seeing you either this coming Sunday, May 31st, or the very first Sunday in June. God bless you. Thank you for joining us today.